Okay, a wonderful afternoon from wonderful old Germany to even more wonderful United States. This is my first webinar for Jana, and I'm very happy and very proud that we came together, Jana and Docware, to start a certainly very successful partnership within the United States and North America. Just a short introduction, who is Docware and what are we doing? Docware is a private-owned company based in wonderful Bavaria. One moment, I change my screen. And we develop this software parts publisher. I'm proud to present to you today. Totally in our company, we have 12 developers who do nothing than developing this, what we call a standard software, which is totally modular. The goal of our software is to fit to all needs of the markets. So we offer a configuration tool, I will explain later on to you, which allows all our customers to rule the system and to define themselves what is the catalog content, in which languages, which kind of drawings. Do you want to produce a catalog for internet with SAP connection or other ERP systems? Do you want to produce an offline catalog and even the wonderful old-fashioned paper catalog? So who are customers, especially for cereal products? Coca-Cola Europe, who does not produce any machines, is running for all technicians in Europe our system to maintain all systems installed in big airports, main stations, and McDonald's. We have customers like Philips Medical, also based in near Cleveland. We have Invercare as customer with some thousand dealers, and Class Agriculture Industry. Draeger Medical, where we have 4,000 technicians running the system. In total, we have around about 350 customers in more than 20 countries. To give you an idea how the catalogs look like for an end user, I will show you some catalogs, how they look like on the internet. I'm now on the homepage of Diamond Aircraft in Austria. This company is a customer of Docware, and when you go on their homepage and you go to After Sales, then you find left-hand side an interactive catalog where you can enter without any login. Our technology allows you to define a catalog in the way that an end user can choose between different viewer technologies, so it's not mandatory to run Java, and I know there are a lot of companies which do not want to run any more Java. Either you can type in now a serial number, or if you do not know your serial number, then you choose a product family and you start the search inside this product family. The start screen you see here is totally configurable like everything in our system. I will show you later on other ways to enter into the catalog. Now I'm starting the catalog for one specific serial number. And you have on the left-hand side a tree structure which contains your catalog. In this case, one aeroplane. This can be a total range of machines and or all your products. We are not limited in the volume of data, and we are not limited in the number of levels in which you can drill down, either here this way, or you do a double click into the parts list, and you continue your navigation, and then you come to a drawing. We work here with TIFF files, with JPEG files, or with different 3D formats like XVL, 3D Via, JT, or IsoView. What you see here are so-called hotspots, which are produced in our offering environment. I will show you later on. And you see when I click on such a hotspot, I'm directly linked into the parts list. We have an additional bird's eye so that you can zoom in to see more details, and you can navigate this way. This works absolutely similar on CD and on internet, and then you can continue your navigation. Which columns are visible and which information is integrated is totally free in your configuration. There is nothing hard-coded from Docware, and you see now you can, for example, create an order, and you can create a shopping cart. And here could be now a standard shopping cart of Docware or a that might be a direct link into your ERP system or PLM system. On one hand side, to display prices, customer-specific prices, to display availability on different stocks, and to place the order directly into your ERP system. That depends on how you want to work. To give you an idea how it might look totally different, I have here the start screen of a catalog offline of a Danish company, and where you see they have totally different criteria to start a catalog. Everything depends on your data. You see, an end user, a technician, a customer can choose either by product order number, by product, by order finish date, by customer's order number, by invoice number, and so on. And so you can configure yourself how a catalog starts, how easy it is for a user to get into data. And now I started it. I hope I did the right button. Where is it? One moment. Okay, here we are. Now you see the catalog. There I've also started a specific machine only, and here you see the format XVL, and you see you can mix different formats. XVL, if you do not know, it's a high compressed format which can be created out of all standard cut systems, and this customer works also with photos and with other formats. You can integrate kits. You can work as you want. It's up to you what you want to display to a customer and how it might work. And you see there are probably additional informations available, and you can place it also to an order into a shopping cart. You can work as you want. Just to show you some other standard functionality and to explain to you the benefit for end users, I'm going now into my shop and start my standard application, and you see we offer also a shop solution where you can define login, to define user-specific views on a catalog, user-specific rights in a catalog. For example, can somebody create an order or not? What you see now is also in catalog, and you see here we have a JPEG, a photo, also with a so-called hotspot. You see when I click on it, then I'm directly linked into the parts list, and I can continue my navigation to drill down into a machine and to see more detailed view on this product. I can zoom in, and you see here are also hotspots, and this is directly linked, and when I click here, this is shown directly where am I, which is my part. To give you an idea about the different possibilities, I'm just searching for my format here. Here it is. I just displayed it also to you. You see we can integrate XVL, JT format, ISOView, and 3D via, and it's your decision which format is visible to which group of user. You can zoom in, you see all details. I can click on a part, and I'm also linked into the parts list. Once more, which columns are visible and in which language parts list entries or integrated documentation are displayed, this is totally free, your decision, your configuration, as well as, for example, integration of such logos to support certain informations. A very strong part is the search environment. That means people who have to identify part have here the possibility to type in something, and which are the search criteria and which results are displayed. This is your configuration. Here is nothing hard-coded from Docware. And then you can do a double click and you jump directly to the catalog, and you can control if this is the part you are looking for, and if not, you can go back and search or restart your search or click on another part. If you have, for example, information about wearing parts, this might be also a search criteria in combination with a maintenance cycle. Why doesn't it work now? And you see this maintenance cycle can be depending in days, in hours, whatever you have in your data. Everything depends on data. And then I can search also by these criteria. Let me go back to the catalog. We have spoken about the formats, we have spoken about search, and you can also integrate describing documentation. That means all your manuals, for example, security advices, whatever you have, can be integrated either as a PDF document, or you can also integrate documents in other formats, even animations. And to define this structure, this is up to you. We offer you also tools to organize document structure. When I go back to the search, then you see here is also the possibility to search in documents. That means we create all about the documents a so-called full text index, search index, so you can type in here something, and this search can be limited by a type of documents, or by a year of construction, or by a range of serial number. Our biggest customers have more than 40,000 documents in this catalog, and optimize so the support of all their technicians so that they find also easily all documents in relation to a date of validity to certain products. To optimize all these processes, we can also define a direct link from a parts list entry in one or several documents, so that a technician, for example, or a guy in the help desk has a direct access into a document, and so it's very easy to optimize these search processes and the information processes. For those who have a lot of serial products, it might be interesting also to display parts history. That means, or substitution. That means you can display in our system, for example, the information that a part has been replaced by another part, and that such a replacement is valid only, let me say, for a certain country, or only valid for a certain range of serial number, or for a certain year of construction. Once more, how such a system looks like, which informations are available, it's totally up to you. You get the training from Jana to learn how to configure the system, how to prepare everything so that you can produce at any moment, at any time, paper catalog, CD, or USB stick catalog, or an internet catalog, which is a Java application. And this process I will give you a short overview afterwards. What we have also developed is the possibility that you can integrate schematics. That means if you work with certain systems for your production of schematics, we can integrate them in an interactive way. That means you see I can jump from a parts list, from a mechanical drawing from a certain part into a schematic. And you see I have there also hotspots which are created totally automatically with tools of Dockware. And you see I have the table of content and I can follow signals, and if all informations are available, I can also place it directly into a shopping cart and can navigate between documentation, schematics, and parts catalogs. So far, I think for a first overview, Jana and Dockware would be very pleased to give you a more detailed presentation individually. I want to switch over now to the authoring environment. That means how can you produce with Parts Publisher Dockware your catalogs? And as far as I have seen what Don showed, this might be interesting for you to see how does it work. Once more, we sell a piece of software which we call the Workbench. This is the authoring environment you will see in a few minutes. And for this Workbench, you get the training. We install this Workbench on a license server at your site, and we need a database, MySQL, MS SQL, or Oracle database. And inside this Workbench and inside this database, you configure so-called project files. That means you define a catalog template with all information, which columns are visible, in which languages, which type of drawings or 3D models for which group of users, and so on. What we need coming from different systems are bill of material or parts list information, whatever, and these data may come from different systems simultaneously. We need illustrations. We integrate TIFF, JPEG, CGM, SVG. We can integrate XVL, JT, 3D via IsoView. Regarding documents, you are totally free to integrate whatever you want. And regarding schematics, we convert and integrate E3, ePlan, Ocotec, and what is totally new, engineering base. After this import process into the authoring environment, which is also available, or which you can also realize in an incremental way, you produce a paper catalog, offline catalogs, a PDA version for Windows 6.5 for the moment, and what we also offer as an option are updates, incremental updates of an offline catalog via internet. A lot of our companies like Class, Perkins, and so on are working this way. The Java application is produced totally automatically at the moment where we import data into this authoring environment, and you do not have to do anything. That means at the moment where you update an existing catalog, it's directly available on the internet server. And once more, we offer also the shop or a portal solution, whatever you want, or we integrate it into your existing environment by a so-called silent login, for example. How does this look like in practice? Okay, here in our authoring environment, we have integrated a tool. You see, I open now a folder with TIFF drawings, and I think all of you have such drawings. And you have these informations that this part is the number 36 or 35, I can't read it, in a parts list. And when you click on this button, then our systems has created directly these sensitive areas and tells you left-hand side, this is a 1, this is a 3, this is a 4, this is a 19. This is also available for alphanumerical combination, means when you have instead of these numbers here, A25, B99, for example, then we can identify also these values. If you say this quality fits to you, if not, you restart training of our OCR tool. This is very easy. You define a character size. Our system identifies characters, and you can control it at any time. Then you can start a recognition mode, recognition in a batch mode, I beg your pardon. And we are also not limited in the number of drawings, and you see this runs really fast. That means if you have to create these hotspots on some 100 or even some 1,000 drawings, you start a PC. There has no person to be sitting in front of it, and you can produce these hotspots, and these informations are stored at each drawing. Here you see project settings, and this is the heart of our tool where you get a detailed training from Jana to learn how to configure everything. To define which columns are available in the catalog, you have here an environment where you only work with your mouse. You choose from a database which we define, and we define with you together during training, that you say you want to integrate the column weight from your ERP system or PLM system, and now this database field is available for data import. You can define where is it visible, and you see now there is a new table available to integrate the next database field. By this way, you create your catalog templates. You can create as many variants as you want by this way. Here you can define in which languages a viewer for the catalog is available, We offer you also a Unicode version so that you can create, for example, Japanese or, what is more familiar, I think, where do I have my Chinese? Yeah, here's Chinese. And you see, we deliver the system with all normal West European languages, and also if you buy the Unicode version, also certain Unicode languages, but you can integrate easily all other languages. You define the same way with mouse and click what are the search criteria in the parts list, what are the search criteria in documents. You define the same way what has to be integrated into the shopping cart so that your ERP system understands the orders coming in without the need that somebody types it in once more. We have a filter environment which allows you to define numeric, alphanumeric, Boolean, and date filters on your data to create very specific views on catalogs, let me say country version per years, or for certain ranges of serial numbers very easily. This is something, once more, you rule it, you learn it, it's really easy, you get a manual, and here is nothing, here's absolutely zero to be programmed. So normally people from documentation department are those people working in this environment. So to give you an idea how this entire process runs, Don, do you hear me? Don?
Yes, sir, I do.
Don, please give me a word, or I'm looking here for a description. What happens now?
Maybe Bavaria.
One moment. What have I done here? I have deleted everything. I must restart my workbench. This was my mistake. I apologize to everybody. But this is when a sales guy tries to do some technical stuff, then it's a nightmare sometimes. Okay, let me go back here to material, and how do I find it here now? I want to search for frame. I do not have English data here, so this is quite obvious that I can't find frame. Okay. You want me to add Bavaria? Okay.
Bavaria frame.
Yeah. Okay. We do it here. I can edit all parts which I have imported. So I type here in now Bavaria frame, and you see you can modify everything. If you have no good data from your leading system, you can manipulate everything inside here. You can work on documents, you can modify catalogs manually, you can do whatever you want. If I want to produce now a catalog, what I have to do only is I say I publish a catalog, and for example, let me start with the wonderful paper catalog, and I want to produce now from our database a catalog in Chinese and English, and I want you to have a look at your clock so that you can see what happens now. System creates automatically a table of content and a search index, and once more the layout of the paper catalog is totally configurable by yourself. That means which columns are in a paper catalog, branding, company logos, pagination, format of pages. You can say, for example, pages of parts list are A4, pages of drawings are in A4 landscape or in A3. You are totally free to define it, and then you get a preview of the catalog you have produced. I have produced a catalog of 148 pages in around about 1 minute, and you see you can either produce directly a PDF or you can print it out. Most of our customers produce a PDF and integrate it into the electronic catalog. And in the table of contents, you see there is my Bavaria frame. So the change Don has asked me to realize is integrated, and you can now navigate through this catalog and you see drawing left-hand side, right-hand side parts list, and so you can navigate through this catalog. Once more, which columns are visible, how it looks like, it's totally free in the configuration, and this is also part of Jana training so that you are able to configure whatever you want at any time. So this is the paper catalog, and when you want to produce an offline catalog, and then you can choose your different variants or your master catalog, and what you have to do only is you define an output directory, and probably if you have a high need in security, we can offer you also different tools to encrypt catalogs or to link them to a MAC address of a PC, for example. Everything is available in a modular structure. And then you export data to this output directory, and your CD catalog is ready for production. And when we go now to the Internet catalog, and one moment, this was the wrong button like every time. And I go here and I start now my Internet catalog, and I want to do it as what is the word? Where is it? Service. Where's my catalog? Here it comes. Hello? Sometimes I need a second try. This is my PC which is not working in a good way. Service once more. Hello? I must do it another way around. It makes me nervous. It doesn't work for the moment. I apologize. One moment. I will close this window. I have opened different catalogs, and this is something it doesn't like. One moment. I'm just coming back.
And Hurwitz, I will remind the audience while you're finding this that if you have...
I wanted to show, one moment, I do it once more. Now I think I will get it done. Service. Here we are. And when I go now to search, and I search for Bavaria, then you see I find my Bavaria frame directly. That means at the moment where you import data into our database, into our system, this Java application is produced automatically without any additional export work or compilation or whatever. The only thing you have to define with our partner Jana is the entire workflow, at which moment these data appear on the productive server and are transferred from the test environment. So far, a short overview about this catalog. When you want to have more information, you find on our homepage, docware.com, case studies of customers. You find market and companies and so on. You find information how they work with our tool. And Jana and Docware are very pleased to give you individual presentations, to have a look at your data, and probably to start with a test installation at your site so that you can test everything yourself in your company with your own data and in your own IT environment. So far, my presentation. Don, it's up to you. Do you want to get back the screen, or should I keep it for questions?
Why don't we keep it there for the moment for questions?
Yes. Okay.
We had a couple of questions come in during your presentation, and I will remind the audience, if you have a a question that you would like for us to at least try to answer? And if we cannot answer, being more sales guys than technical guys, we may say, let me go back to the technical folks and we'll come back with an answer.
Yes.
But please submit your question, and we will get it answered either now or as a follow-up. So Howard, one of the questions was that you showed the parts catalog and the documentation module. What happens if I start off with a parts catalog but find out that I need to add functionality later? Do I have to reinstall the
No.
or what happens?
Whenever a customer wants to add, for example, he wants to start without documentation, only with the parts catalog, and he says, in 1 year I want to integrate describing documentation, then he gets only a new license key. All existing catalogs can be used further on, but this new functionality is then directly available. And this is the same way for all modules. For example, if you say, let's start with English only, but in 1 year you add Unicode version to integrate parts list, documents, and viewer interface in Chinese, Arabian languages, and so on, it's only a new license key. And depending on module, probably a part of training, implementation, but everything is ruled by a license key. There is no reinstallation of database. There is no reproduction or new production of catalogs needed. The advantage of this system is whatever functionality you have in mind for, let me say, in 2012, 2013, 14, you know your costs in advance, and you can test all modules before you decide finally if you really buy it. So you can test it in your environment with your data, and you can calculate your benefit and your return of invest easily.
Well, Howard, that you actually led me into the next question that was asked.
Yes.
Is saying, you know, it's nice that it works in your environment, on your PC. How do I find out if it fits and if it works in my environment? Can you speak to that?
Yes. We have different possibilities. The easiest way is you invest into a 2 to 3 days training on site, and we install this authoring environment on your PC in your environment, and you can test everything yourself. That means during this short introduction, you learn how to configure a catalog template. We do it with your data, and then you can modify it yourself. You can test it on your PCs. You can test it on your internet server. You can speak with all IT guys if it works, and this is no problem. In front of it, we can give you a document which is called configuration specification, which describes preconditions for end user and for the offering environment. For the end user, he needs a PC with minimum Windows 98. There is no additional software needed to run a catalog. At the moment where he puts a, let me say, USB stick with a catalog on his PC, he is asked whether he wants to install it or if he wants to run it directly from a CD, a DVD, or a USB stick. It's not necessary to have administrative rights to run the catalog. And on the internet, it runs on Java, on Chrome, and on Firefox. But once more, we offer so-called test installation, and you can test everything in your own environment. It's a limited number of data sets you can import, and it's a limited timetable, but this has to be defined with Jana, and then you can do it yourself.
Okay. Another question that we had rolled in. Could you show me a interchangeability list for a given part, and can you show how that's input? You had showed a parts change and part substitution list. Can you go back to that part of it and show us maybe a little more about that and show us
Yes.
how that animation is input?
Yeah, import. You see, I'm back to my offering environment. What we imported, just let me open this document. We import data coming from different systems simultaneously. And these are normally text files, XLS files, CSV files, XML files. And once more, this is a process I will show you now, which can be totally automated by script files, by remote function calls, for example, and especially in the SAP environment where we have a certified interface available, we can do a lot of automation, but also with other systems. So when you want to import data, what you have to do at the beginning is that you define a so-called mapping. Normally, you export from an ERP system, from a PLM system, a parts list, a bill of material. You export from a CAD system drawings, for example, and we have to import it. And to bring this together with your specific configuration, you have to define once a so-called mapping. That means you add a column 1 from your system to a certain database field in our environment, and a column 2 and a column 3 and so on. By this project file, which you see on top here, you see demo.dwk. In this file, you have defined which columns will be visible in a catalog. So when you have done this mapping for all different, you see now I prepare parts list data, I can import drawings separately, I can import structures separately. When you have done this mapping, you start what we call the import of a full project. And you see we import now different types of data simultaneously, and we can create also a full text index. This import process, depending on data complexity, runs by 3,000 to 5,000 parts per minute. That means when you have an initial big catalog, under big catalog I understand catalogs with 100 million parts or even more. This is what our customers have. This will take a certain time, this is quite clear. But when you define then an incremental update of your existing catalog, that means you export from your leading system. You export from your leading system only the delta, the difference between last catalog production and newest data sets from your ERP system. Then you can count in minutes or hours how this runs, how fast this runs, this entire process. Just let me open. Where am I here? Unterlagen extern. I apologize for speaking German with myself, but it's a little bit easier for me. Only to give you an idea how this looks like with ERP systems. And you see when this process has been finished, then what you can do in our environment is you can start a so-called preview. That means whatever you have changed here in catalog configuration or in data, you can control it here directly by starting a preview of the catalog. You can choose your variant of the catalog. You can even probably combine it with a filter to create a very specific view for one serial number, for example, only. And then you start the preview to control are all changes I had in mind really valid? Just let me do it, see if it works. So when I start this preview, we had modified languages. You see I've now Chinese and Japanese viewer interface available. Let it keep in English. And when I say here OK, and we go to search here in this catalog now, and I say we search here for Bavaria, because this was a change before. Nothing available. What have I done here? Options, language. I'm in English. I've done a mistake, but I do not know which one. I will find it out. But once more, I apologize for this. You have the possibility to control the import. You can also import only, for example, parts lists, only the catalog structure, only documents, only diagrams, and so on. But normally you say you import a full project. And to give you an idea how we can, what are the possibilities to automate such a process, we have different possibilities to define such a process, as shown on an example how we do it with SAP. Normally you export data, we import them, or you can define Visual Basic scripts, or you can define ABAPs or a remote function call which controls the entire production and import process. Class, for example, produces catalogs for end customers online, for dealers online, and an offline catalog for 3,500 dealers worldwide by this way, by remote function call, and there is nothing done manually in the authoring environment. Everything is controlled from SAP and is started automatically. Okay, next question.
The next question is it possible to view effectivity as in aircraft line numbers, applicability for a specific part number? Can you show what piece of machine or what pieces of machinery one specific item fits?
This I do not quite understand. What do you mean with this?
I'm going to paraphrase, and if the answer to the question says, no, Don, you messed up, you can ask again. But if you say, okay, I'm going to highlight a part, is there a way that either in the pop-up box or in the display that it says, well, this part fits on machine number, aircraft number 1?
Yes, this is possible. It depends on data. Just let me restart the catalog, how it looks for the end user. So, for example, just let me go here into this catalog. Probably this is a little bit like what you are looking for. You see here is a part with the parts number 5, for which exists, just let me change to English so everybody can read it. One moment. It exists in different variants. These are additional columns, as you have seen at the Diamond aircraft, or here can be a direct link to other parts, or you can have here additional information which gives this information. Is this what you are looking, what you mean with this?
Well, like for the tooth belt, could you have a column that says, this works for serial number 10 to serial number 20.
Yes. You see it here. Let me go back to Diamond Aircraft. You see they have here serial number from to, and they have this for different, I do not know what is serial number, what are these different columns for, but you see here are such informations available that certain parts are only valid for certain ranges of serial numbers. This is one example. Once more, we must see your data to show you how we can integrate it and how we can display it. But once more, which column is here visible is you rule the system, you define it yourself. Does it answer the question?
Yes, sir, I think so. And just to maybe reiterate, as far as if someone wants to test this with their own data, how would that work?
Yeah, once more, the prospect can get an offer from your site for a 2 or 3 day training on-site, which includes a test installation. That means this authoring environment with all needed functionality, including also Java application, for example, is installed. You get a training so that you can configure the system yourself, that you can test everything yourself with your own data in your IT environment. And together also with, let me say, a dealer or some customers so that they get an access on your internet server, or you, Don, at Jana, you can host it, for example, with a specific access so that dealers or customers or technicians of a customer can play with it around and say, yes, this is the functionality I'm looking for. A first step might be we can also offer a so-called test CD, but there is a pre-configured catalog template. You can create hotspots manually. You can import 300 data records, and then you can produce yourself a CD, a paper catalog, and an HTML internet catalog.
Very good. Well, I want to
yes.
try and see if I can show my desktop again.
Yes.
And maybe not.
Yeah, you must say share your desktop. You must share it once more.
Okay, let me.
Yes.
I'm working my way there.
No, one moment. I must close all my windows here. Yes, you are back on your screen. Or we are back on your screen.
So we are out of time. Here is the contact information, the website for Docware, the website for Jana, and my contact information. And at the end, when you exit the webinar, we will ask you a couple questions just to let us know how we did, and would appreciate your feedback. And Howard, I'd like to thank you very much for a very good presentation. I think we probably could have spent maybe 2 hours on this, but it was
yeah. Well, we can spend the entire night here in Germany. It would be a great pleasure for me to answer all your questions, to give, together with Jana, individual presentations, to analyze your data, to do whatever it needs to give you a good feeling for this wonderful product, and also to bring you in touch with existing customers. Please tell us what is interesting for you. If you want to speak to customers, we can bring you in touch with all kind of customers. If ERP integration is interesting, if optimized catalog production is interesting, whatever you want to see and you want to ask our customers, feel free to get in touch with Jana and Docware, and we will do everything to make you very happy with this wonderful tool.
All right. Well, on behalf of Jana and Docware, I would like to thank everyone for attending, and hope you have a great afternoon or evening as the situation is appropriate. And we'll be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you also, and wish you a wonderful afternoon to the United States. Bye-bye.